Hi, everyone. My name is Mariana. Today I have Alexandra Gordon from HowSitMexico.com with me. Thank you for being with me, Alexandra.
It's my pleasure.
We're going to talk about something really exciting today, and that's house sitting opportunities in Mexico. It's really a great way to be able to explore an area, stay in unique places. We're going to share a lot about the House Sit Mexico website, how you can join, how you can get house sitting opportunities, how you can become a house sitter and offer your house to other people. Alexandra's going to answer some questions about the website and membership. So much information today. But before we get started, I want to give you guys a chance to join in. I know some of you are going to start coming in as the minute rolls in. Please let us know where you're watching from. There's a live chat button at the bottom that says, obviously, live chat. If you're on your phone, it should be a little icon that says live chat. Click on that. Let us know where you're watching from. If you're on your laptop or your computer, it should automatically come up on the side part of your screen. But if it doesn't, there's also an icon at the bottom. Click on that and you should be able to live chat in. Ellen, thank you so much for watching from Philadelphia. Let us know where you guys are watching from, or maybe what parts of Mexico you'd be interested in visiting. Hey, Tony, welcome, watching from Houston. Thank you so much for watching, Tony. Hi, Dave. He's in an Airbnb in Querétaro. Querétaro is one of my favorite cities, you guys. I love
Very
Querétaro.
beautiful.
I agree. Very
Yeah.
beautiful. And not talked about very often. Ohio, hubby and Nahihik at the plaza tonight. Well, there you go, Shelly. Why aren't you with him? You should be enjoying the weather. What's the weather like right now in Ohio? Where are you guys watching from? Or maybe what parts of Mexico are you interested in? We're going to get started any minute now. But first, I want to give you guys a minute to join us. And if you're just now joining us, I have Alexandra Gordon from HowSitMexico.com. It's a great website that connects you to house sitting opportunities across Mexico. You should really check it out. Become a member. It's a great opportunity in Mexico. When am I doing my next tour? I will definitely keep you posted, Ellen. I don't know yet, but soon. And Shelly says it's very cold in Ohio. Yeah, you should be in Nahihik with your husband.
Mid 70s right now.
There you go. It's cold and dark here. Oh, man. Well, we definitely are going to connect you to some great house sitting opportunities in sunny and beautiful Mexico. That way you can, get out of the cold weather. So we're going to get started here in about 30 more seconds. Just want to give you guys a chance to join in so you don't miss any part of this. First, I'm going to ask Alexandra, how are you?
I'm great. I'm feeling wonderful. Thank you.
I want to thank you so much for joining me today.
And now it's a wonderful opportunity to talk about, the site that I love. This is work that I really enjoy doing.
And I want to commend you because you've done a wonderful job with this website. I'm going to show you guys real quick what the website looks like. It's so easy to navigate, and it has a really simple but very effective design that tells you what parts of Mexico you can find house sitting opportunities in. So it gives you a really nice map. And then it shows you where in Mexico you have these house sitting opportunities. Once you click on one of these house sitting opportunities, you can look at pictures, you can look at the description. So very cool. It tells you, if you're going to be taking care of pets, how long they need somebody to stay there. Just very, very easy to use. So we're gonna get more into that as we do this, but why don't we get right into it, Alexandra? For
Sure.
anybody who doesn't know about House Sit Mexico, why don't you tell them what it is?
Well, I think I'd start by just talking about what house sitting is, because there are some people that have never heard of that. Um, House sitting is very popular in a lot of parts of the world, especially in England and Canada, Australia, and it's become more and more popular all around the world. a house sit is when somebody comes and watches your house, watches your pets while you're away. And through House Sit Mexico, it's a no cash exchanged relationship. It's an exchange, person to person. Um, you meet at housesitmexico.com. At House at Mexico, oops, my earbud just lost that. Um, you meet at housesitmexico.com. That's where you can connect. But once people connect, they just work out their details one on one. So house sitting is not a paid job at all. It's a place to stay for free while you responsibly take care of usually pets, but not always. Sometimes people just want someone to be in the house and have it be occupied while they're away. So you can see all of that information on the website, exactly, what is being required, what's being asked.
Yeah. So it's a good way, like even if the person doesn't have pets, maybe they need the gardener to be able to be let in, or maybe a house cleaner to be able
Exactly.
to be let in,
Yeah.
who rely on these
Eh,
jobs.
Yeah, in Mexico, when you have a housekeeper or you have a gardener, you cannot just say, "Well, I'm going to be away for a month. I'm locking up or whatever." You always have to keep on those people employed. I mean, these are rules. And so, as opposed to house sits in the United States, for example, uh, where you might have to mow the lawn or clean the house yourself. Virtually all of the house sits at House Sit Mexico include maid service once or twice a week, most usually. Gardeners, poolmen, it's all included. So
That's so
you just get
awesome.
to go take care of the pets, play, walk, play with them, care for them, be a responsible person. And so we'll get into all of that in terms of uh, what it takes to be a house sitter.
Yeah, why don't we get into that? How could somebody, how does somebody sign up to become a member? And what is a house sitter looking for in terms of somebody to house it for them?
Okay. First of all, it's a membership website. So um, it costs $79 a year, and it's been the same price since the website started 5 years ago. So for $79, you become a member and you choose whether you're a homeowner, have a membership as a homeowner renter who can list house sits or find house sitters, connect with house sitters, or you're a house sitter and you want to be able to apply for house sitting assignments or be contacted directly and asked if you'd like to do a house sit. Um, so let's say that you're interested in house sitting. You join, and the next thing that you see after joining is that you would see your dashboard, and your dashboard allows you to create a profile that goes online, and every time you apply for a house sit, a link to your profile is included. And in your profile, you basically just introduce yourself, and you can upload photographs of yourself if you have done house sitting before, and if you have done it for a relative or whatever, it would be great to get that relative to write you a little note saying what a wonderful job that you did. And all of that can be included on your profile.
Oh,
But on your profile, talk about yourself, be personable, and let people get to know a little bit about who you are, what your background is. If you've been a policeman for 30 years, that's certainly something that would sounds very trustworthy about you. Share details about yourself. If you've raised a family or whatever your personal situation is. And I find that the more personable people are in their profiles, the better it is to connect with a homeowner. um, it's all about building trust. You want that homeowner to give you that opportunity to come and house it for them. So you write your profile in a way to communicate what a responsible person you are, what a that you have experience perhaps with the kind of pets that they have. So you talk about the pet care that you've done for yourself or just who you are. And it's great to show photographs of yourself as well.
So once you become a member, I just want to make sure I understand. Once you become a member, you can apply for these house sit directly, or the house sitter can actually contact you directly and say, hey, I would like you to, give me some information about your background.
Um, you can see the house sits that are available. And when you click on the house sit, on the website, it opens up to show you all the details about it. And if you're a member and you're logged in, there is a button there that you can click and you send a message through the website. It's a little bit like Facebook Messenger, that it's private. It's inside the website. Now, you're actually not a member. So
Okay.
if
I
you
wouldn't
if
be
you
able to see
scroll
this.
if you scroll up to the top, there would be for a member a button there to contact the homeowner,
Got it.
and that it's from that spot that you would click, and a message screen would open up, and you would send them a message. When they receive your message, there is a link to your profile. So you could say, "Oh, I would love to come to Playa del Carmen. I know all about golden doodles. I've been, or whatever the pets are, or whatever. I've been interested in moving to Mexico for some time, and this has been really on my radar." Or chat a bit. Go ahead and feel free to chat a little bit in that message, and they will receive that message. They can see your profile, and they'll get back to you.
Yeah. So be
So
convincing and be, why would somebody want to allow you to come and stay? I mean, a house is something very private to somebody.
yeah, it's about building trust. But even if you haven't had experience as a house sitter yourself, I'll tell you what a lot of people use is the references that they have as having been renters on Airbnb, or if they have been the hosts on Airbnb. And it's just feedback about you that you're a real person, you're a responsible person. So that has worked really well for people. Even having character references helps a lot too. But there are a couple of there, as I mentioned before, there are two different ways. You can apply for that house sit, but also there are a lot of homeowners who would rather not put their house sitting assignment online, and I refer to it as shopping the sitters. They'll go through the pages of that of the people who are registered members, house sitters with House Sit Mexico, and clicking. And only if they're a member, the public
Mhm.
can't see your full profile. Your profile is private to only other members, and they can look at various profiles and say, this person comes from my hometown, or they find something that they connect with about you. And they can send you a message and say, I live in San Miguel de Allende. I'm going to be gone for the holidays. Would you be interested in coming for 3 weeks to come and house sit my two cats? And you can connect that way too. And a lot of people do. So it works both ways.
Where does your website, I mean, in your experience, you guys have been doing this for 5 years?
Yes.
So in your experience, is there one location where a lot of house sits usually pop up, or is it really everywhere in Mexico?
It's really reflective of where people live in Mexico,
Hmm.
where English speaking people live in Mexico. So, the population of English speaking expats typically, almost all, I don't know what the percentage would be, but like 80, 90 something percent of all the house sits are really, you're coming to house sit for somebody who's retired in Mexico.
Hmm.
And so you're coming to house at their dream home that
Hmm.
they have retired to. And a lot of them are very nice, but not all. I mean, some of them are simple apartments. I mean, it's a variety of situations. Um, I gotta get it better.
It's all right.
Yeah, Anyway, sorry about that. Where are house sits in at House of Mexico? A lot are at Lake Chapala. A lot are in San Miguel de Allende.
Mm.
Uh, Puerto Vallarta, very popular. Also, any of the beach communities. The Baja California certainly has their share. And then a lot of people don't realize that um, while the coasts are very popular to vacation at, the majority of people who live in Mexico live in the interior. And the
Mhm.
reason for that is because it's comfortable there. It's it's a great year-round location. It's at a high altitude typically, and so like here in Ajijic, right now it's in the mid 70s during the days, and there's virtually no humidity. There's no humidity problem, and
Yeah.
so it's great in all the different seasons. So you get the colonial towns in the middle of Mexico. So you had one of your viewers in Querétaro. Querétaro is like this fabulous hills, hillside, all over the hillsides, sprawling little colonial town. Well, it's a city really, but I mean,
Sure.
it feels small.
It feels small.
Uh, yeah, and it's fabulous. It's a fabulous place to live, and it's a fabulous place to visit. So a lot of people north of the border have never even heard of Querétaro.
Hmm.
But that would be like a really wonderful place to go and experience and think about whether you might want to live there. Not far away from there is San Miguel de Allende. San Miguel de Allende has gotten a lot of press, been the number one city to visit in the world, according to, I believe, Leisure magazine.
Condé
Um,
Nast called it like, yeah,
yeah, yeah. So, it's certainly in the press a lot, but it too feels like a small town, even though it really is a city. But it's the colonial charm that you'll find in a lot of these places in the interior. But then again, a lot of expats choose to settle on the coast, and those coastal areas are fabulous to visit. And I'll bring this up. The nice thing about house sitting is that as opposed to only being there during the prime vacation times, if you're thinking about living somewhere, it's good to be there and see what it's like at any time of year.
hmm,
And so you would have that opportunity without paying rent anywhere. Um, and I refer to it as a bubble. Like if you go to a rental, whether it's an Airbnb or a hotel or whatever, it's like a cultural bubble. You're not really feeling what it's like to live in the place.
totally.
But when you're house sitting someplace, you're meeting the neighbors, you're meeting quite frequently, homeowners will introduce you to their friends and neighbors. And
Yeah.
so immediately you're getting those information sources to figure out, like how does this work? What is it like to actually be there long term?
It's a great way for you to be able to explore an area if you're scouting an area
Right.
and be able to stay somewhere and be in an actual neighborhood outside of the
Uh-huh.
hotel area or like,
Right.
the historic
Right.
center of any town and really explore
Yeah.
different neighborhoods. I
Right.
think it's a genius idea for anybody
But
who's like scouting an area.
yeah, I mean that's what we did uh, when
Oh, really?
when we came down. I've been a homeowner in the States for like over 30 years, but coming down to Mexico, even though I had traveled much more than the typical person thinking about moving to Mexico, I've been doing this a long time, traveling to different parts of Mexico,
Mm.
but we didn't really know for sure where we would want to stay, and so we house sat in three different places, and that really taught me a lot about what house sitting's about. And then with that experience as both a homeowner and a house sitter, I was able to launch this website.
Yeah, yeah. You actually had firsthand knowledge of what people look
Yeah,
for and how easy it
I
needs to be to navigate.
I see it from both sides,
Hmm.
and really try to actively serve both sides.
So that's actually really a really good point for me to point out, is that if you're going to the website right now and you're looking for what is out there, right? Like what house sitting opportunities are out there. You should keep in mind that some of these are not posted on the website, and
Yeah.
but you should still get a membership, because people will, like Alexandra said, go through this directory of house sitters that are available, and you can
Yeah.
get opportunities elsewhere.
Um, I'm often asked, why do we show it, the past house sits as well, that you can browse through? There are many, many pages of them. There's over 1,000. And the reason that we show um, the inactive assignments is because you can actually do a filtered search. That's an option there on the site. And you can see where we've had house sits in the past. And the vast majority of our homeowners, once they're members of House Sit Mexico, they're with us year after year. And so if, say, something was available in Chicala, uh, as, as you scroll past there, you now see that particular assignment can come back. It gives you an idea of where realistically, with proved that that's where we've had listings before, that's where you may see them again. And plus, we have new ones coming on all the time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I go through this website all the time, just out of curiosity for myself, and I constantly see new house sitting opportunities come up. So,
Yeah. So that's the value of seeing the past ones, so
mhm,
you can get an idea of what's out there
yeah.
and what can come back.
Ellen has a question for you. She's wondering, how are house sitters vetted? You talked about this earlier a bit, but maybe you can elaborate a little bit more.
Sure. Our advice to homeowners is to pick up the phone and actually call a reference,
Hmm.
and to take a look at the information about a person and the references that they offer, so that I find that hearing somebody's voice on the phone tell you about what this person is like as a house sitter is much more effective. Because what does it mean for it to be vetted? Like there are these private services that so-called will vet the house sitters, or like, what does this mean? It's
Hmm.
kind of like, I I I had no idea about this until I became a house sitter myself. It was suggested that I get a police report. What is a police report? It was to call where I lived for 25 years and talk to somebody at the police station, and they get these requests. They sent me a letter that basically said that I've never been in trouble.
Hmm. Doesn't really say much.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And so, like, what does vetting really mean?
Hmm.
So I feel that it can be played so that it's like a false sense of security,
Hmm.
and I don't want to develop false senses of security. So really, the way to think about the website is that it's almost like a dating website, in the sense that that's where you may meet, or that's where you connect, but then you go off and you make your agreements. Go off and you talk to those people. You do those interviews. You do a Zoom call, or on Facebook, or
Oh, great point.
however,
Yeah, meet like
FaceTime.
this, face to face.
Right, right. And what homeowners do is, like, they feel pretty good about it. They'll just pick up their iPad or their computer, and they'll walk around the house, and they'll show you the house. They'll introduce you to the pet. I mean, it's the beginning of a relationship. And what actually happens, which is hysterical to me, I mean, like, I love hearing this, that there are a lot of friendships that are made out of this, that people really get along. And so, aside from experience as a house sitter, and there are people that come with tons good experience as house sitters. The
Hmm.
other thing is just to, like, identify with a person and just understand who they are and connect with them. And that kind of connection builds trust, as much as anything written on a piece of paper. Um, and it's that kind of connection that we're looking to develop with the homeowner who has offered an assignment.
I hope that has answered your question, Ellen. It definitely answered mine, but yes, I agree. Making that connection, you made a great point. Schedule a Zoom call. We have these tools available to us.
Yeah,
Why
they're
not?
wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
So the
free way to get to know the person before decide,
uh-huh.
yes, I'm going to hire you.
Right. The homeowner will go through and look at the profiles or whatever and make a short list. I mean, like two or three people maybe that they actually speak to or interview online. It's as much as they really want to uh, get into it. And I think I kind of touched right there on something that a lot of people might wonder, and that is like how many how many applicants are they competing against?
Oh, good point.
Okay, and I think that House of Mexico is really great, especially for people who haven't house sat before, um, because as opposed to like there's one really big international house sitting website. There, it's not the only international house sitting website, but like those guys, when an opportunity comes up, there can be like as many as 100 applicants.
Mhm.
Or count them in the tens.
Yeah.
Okay, and House at Mexico, the typical number is between 3 to 5
Oh, okay.
that that apply. And if it's January in Cancun, it could be more. I mean, it would be more,
Yeah.
but it's never as competitive as the international house sitting websites. Um,
Plus, it's so
and
niche to Mexico that it's only house sitting assignments in Mexico. Like, if you
right,
want to check out Mexico, this is the
right.
step you need to go to, not
Right,
just.
you're motivated. You're motivated specifically to come to Mexico. That already gives you something in common with the people that are offering the house sitting opportunities. You're not just like
Applying
shopping.
to all of us. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There are uh, there are there is such a thing as an international house sitting community. Okay, and those are people that can house sit for years, uh, like literally.
Hmm.
And just in between assignments, they go to Airbnbs or whatever. But they're traveling. Many are digital nomads. They have a source of income coming from something that they're doing on their computers. Um, and those people have a lot of experience and a lot of references. And so those folks also come to House at Mexico, but they're not the majority. They're still a minority.
Hmm.
Um, and and another thing I want to bring up is that almost I think it's 46% most recently, almost half of all the people who are listed as sitters are actually homeowners in Mexico who
Oh, really?
also they take a dual membership so that they can consider being a house sitter. And what's really great is that they are the ones that look for short house sits. They don't want to be away from home that long necessarily.
Hmm.
Um, and they're available for the last minute ones that come up. And that's the key also to not having too much competition for a given assignment because everybody's looking for something different.
Yes.
There's some people that are joining that only want to go to Baja. There are some
Mhm.
people that are joined that are only looking to go to certain areas or a certain time of year, and then there are you know over like 140 something or whatever that are the homeowners in Mexico that are saying, "Oh, Oaxaca, a long weekend. I think I can do
Why
that."
not?
Yeah, and I make it very inexpensive for homeowners. For it's just $20 more that they can take a dual membership.
Yeah,
So
it's a
they opt.
no-brainer.
Yeah. So I do it. I don't do it. I take it. So the competition is not nearly as stiff as it might look when you first look at 300 and however many house sitters
And
out there.
yeah, yeah, you're not competing with like these international websites where, somebody might be applying to anywhere in the world, and You're competing
Right,
now with hundreds of people for the same house sitting assignment.
right. Because not everybody is going to apply to that particular house sit.
Hmm. Yeah, makes great sense.
Yeah.
Um, Ellen has another question or another comment. She says she wants to explore being a house sitter, but she'd be interested in somebody having house sit for her in Philadelphia when she travels. Well, yeah, you may not be able to connect with somebody on House Sit Mexico to a house sit for you in
Right.
Philadelphia, but you can definitely find a house sit assignment in Mexico. You should definitely sign up for House Sit Mexico's membership. Now, one thing that we talked about, and I hadn't even thought about this, but I saw it on your FAQs, are do house sitters, are they ever required to pay for anything?
Typically not. The only time that I've seen anything that comes close to that is if they're going to a coastal area when it's extremely hot and humid. If they're doing that, the homeowner may say, "Look, I want to place this restriction that you only use air conditioning in the bedroom at night," or they work out something to say, like you just don't want to open the tap of having the air conditioning going on 24/7 and running up their utilities. So they would work out something to control that cost because the spirit of it is that there's no cash exchanged.
Mm-hmm.
So there is, nothing like that typically. I will say that we have had some extremely long term house sits, like a year or more,
Wow.
and in that case, they may ask you to pick up
The
the
gardening
400
fee
pay.
or the,
Yeah, but a gardener or a maid may earn 400 to 500 pesos a week, which is $25 a week.
mm-hmm.
So, and that might happen in very long-term situations. And that again is something that people work out. But in the model situation is that it's a no cash exchange situation. You pay for your own travel to the destination.
Mm-hmm.
You pay for your own food. Very frequently, very frequently, homeowners may leave you a bottle of wine. They may
Mm-hmm.
say, "Look, what's fresh in the refrigerator is yours. You may have this, you may not have that," and sort of communicate,
Yeah.
uh, what the rules of the road are.
The important thing is that they set these expectations beforehand so that nobody's surprised at the end with like a $400 bill because their electric bill was, significantly
Yeah, we don't see those numbers here in Mexico,
high.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean the relative situation, but it's
Sure.
never going to be
Not
a
in
four hundred
Ajijic
dollar bill.
anyway, but maybe in some
No,
of the coastal areas if somebody had a huge house.
not even in the coastal area would it run that high.
Yeah. Somebody has a really good question. They're wondering, we touched on this briefly, but I'm going to put it up on the screen here. Sue is wondering, what do you need to get your first house sit without references?
And that's a question that comes up all the time. Um, First of all, if you have done anything like that for a relative or whatever, think of it as a house sit. Like if you had to go help at someone's home while they were in the hospital for a long period of time, that can count as a house sit. Ask them to write you a reference. Terrific. And then on your profile, by the way, you can upload that reference as a document, or you can list it, the information in it on the form. So, first of all, first mine what is real that you've done.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's say that you don't have any references, talk about yourself and the work that you've done. It's about building trust. So I made the example of having been a policeman for 30 years. I mean, something like that, or, you know, a variety of, a teacher. I mean, whatever. You're a professor, you're a writer. Here's the books that I've written on Amazon.com. You can see them here. So you can talk about yourself and build trust a lot of ways. And as I also already mentioned, the Airbnb, um, giving references, from having been a renter or rent if you've been a host on Airbnb. In both those roles, people give references that are part of your account. You can copy that and paste it into the form that is your profile. So those are just things that say this is a real person. This is someone who has shown that they are reliable. And
Yeah.
so those things really work. And then when you talk person to person, there's nothing so real as a real conversation.
Hmm.
And you just want to come across as the real person you are, who's very reliable. And here, I'll mention this. This is kind of like a related thing a little bit.
Hmm.
The fact that everybody actually pays a fee
Mm,
to participate is kind of like a filter.
of course.
Um, it it really does, both on both sides. Okay, people take it far more seriously when they've paid something,
There's more skin
and
in the game, of course.
yeah, it filters out a lot of people that are less. Let's use the word serious
Hmm.
about it.
Hmm.
Okay, so it's actually a small lottery ticket to pay, for what could actually be saving you a ton of money.
Or creating a new experience in a place that
Yeah,
you don't have to go stay at a hotel for, and you get
yeah,
to maybe take care of some adorable pets.
yeah,
Which brings me to a point. I saw in your FAQs that not all the house sitting assignments have pets in them.
correct.
Okay. Do you
Yeah,
find that most do though?
yes, definitely. The biggest motivator for somebody to want to have a house sitter is because they need a pet sitter.
Yeah.
So that's the reality. Okay, um, the kind of house sits that don't have pets are most commonly the occasional very long house sit because they're not leaving their pets. They're taking their pets with them wherever they are. Like some house, we've had house sitting assignments for a house for sale, for example, and so that wouldn't have a pet. There have been a couple of listings where they wanted you to, instead of taking care of a pet, to check in somebody who's coming to their property because it's an Airbnb property.
Oh,
So,
got it.
so you're not, doing any kind of intense labor or whatever, but you might take care of that responsibility.
Yeah, which is a very small favor to pay back for the big
Yeah,
opportunity you're getting.
yeah.
Is there information on the listings as far as location in the town, availability of grocery shopping, etc.?
Well, you can see the listings for yourselves, and that is uh, all the information in a listing is available to the public. You don't have to be a member to see that. So if you go up to the active listings, it, if you scroll up there, well, it's the site is loading, but if you click on any of the pictures of an active listing, it'll open up and it'll tell you all about it. And as you get closer to getting that assignment, you can ask a lot of those questions. Very frequently, the homeowner will say what kind of thing is available. They'll talk about how often or the ease with which there is local transportation. Occasionally, and quite frequently, if a listing is in a home that is in a less populated area or not in the middle of town, they may leave you the car.
Oh,
But
great.
that happens quite a bit, but that is something that is worked out person to person.
Yeah. I want to
But you
show an
have,
example of somebody who wrote a really great, bio as far as their house sitting opportunity for you. They're telling you all about their neighborhood, how far they are from Soriana, which is a major grocery store in Mexico, and then also how far they are from, a big open market, Mercado Escandon. So hopefully this answers your question, Dave, that, it just depends on the actual listing, but communicate with them, and they will, I'm sure, be happy to give you that information.
Keep in mind that the person offering the house sit lives there. They need groceries. They need, uh, you know, access to a variety of services.
Yeah.
So you're just going in to fill their shoes for a while.
Hmm. Yeah. Sue mentioned that she thinks that she asked a question wrong. She meant to say, how do you get your first house sit without references or experience? Well, I think Alexandra went into really great detail about this. If you've ever stayed at an Airbnb, then you should use some of those reviews that you've gotten when you've rented that Airbnb. If you've never stayed at an Airbnb, have no experience house sitting, then ask your family, friends, neighbors, somebody who can write a reference for you if you've actually done that type of work. Or maybe you can actually be really good at writing about yourself. We are probably the best advocates for ourselves, and you can write about yourself. If you're a very clean person, right? I'm a very clean person, tidy. Maybe you could even show a few pictures of your house just as proof that things are in order. So
Yeah.
hopefully that answers some of that question.
Yeah, communicating yourself, is really key. Having references is extremely helpful, but you know, um, the homeowners um, are looking for not only someone who whose references they can trust, they're looking for somebody who's going to be easy to work with.
Hmm.
So therefore, they can connect with you in a variety of ways. Um, People, find things that, in common, or not. I mean, whatever. I mean, you just show them who you are, and be yourself. I have seen people uh, send messages like in application of like 4 words, really terse. I'm willing to come. I no, no, no. You have don't do it that way. So I'm not saying to be chatty at extraordinary length, but it's okay to you have their listing to relate to. You can see what they're talking about, what kind of pet they have. You can talk about whether you had pets like that.
Hmm.
Um, if you don't have pets now, but you had them for many years and you had a long relationship with a veterinarian caring for those pets, that veterinarian can write you a reference about what a great pet owner you have been and how knowledgeable you are and how caring.
Yeah. And I want to
So
reiterate that I think this is a great way for you to be able to scout an area, even if you're already living in Mexico, to scout another area of Mexico while also being surrounded by a true neighborhood, usually in a typical Mexican house. If you've never lived in a typical Mexican house, they are different than the homes in the US and Canada. And this can give you an idea of what that's like instead of staying, at a hotel or somewhere where you wouldn't get that firsthand experience. Uh,
yeah,
so I think it's a great point that you make there.
I recently met a couple who, and I'll just tell you a little bit about their story. They had been renting in a few different areas in Mexico to make a permanent decision about where to move. And after living in 2 areas, they joined House at Mexico. And so that this would facilitate their being able to go get around to different parts of Mexico. And they actually came to work, my town, and did a house sit here. And in the time that they were house sitting here, they bought a house
Wow.
because they said, this is where I want to be, and
Okay.
they realized that.
They're
So, they hadn't expected that at all.
That's
And
awesome.
anyway, that's like a true story.
That's great. Um, oh, she has a reference from her vet. Perfect. That would be a great, you have a first, like, that would be amazing if I had pets in my house and I wanted you to house it for me and your vet was telling me that you're a great pet owner. That would be like
Yeah,
the most solid way for me to know that
yeah,
that you'll
yeah.
take good care of my pets.
Aside for all the person to person kind of connection. It's just like one more piece of information that kind of solidifies a sense of confidence. You know, house sitters, when it works really well, house sitters allow the homeowner to go off without worrying. And so like that's what you're trying to get to, is to build that kind of sense of confidence. And that leads me to think of something about, like, um, there are some things that the they're not professionals, but the long-term house sitters, uh, that culture of house sitting, what they have established is uh, a high bar of standards, and this is what's expected. Homeowners should come home to a house that is as neat and clean as they left it for you. Okay, so make sure that the house is just as good as it was when you got there, and that's a great standard to have. And also, a lot of homeowners who leave their pets with you, they want an occasional photograph or check in from you about how they're doing. So things like that really make you a great house sitter.
Yeah, there you go. I think that's a great point and a great closing to this house sit. I don't know if you guys have any more questions for Alexandra. Please feel free. You have her attention now. We have about 10 more minutes left because I usually try to keep these to an hour. So if you have any more questions for Alexandra, take advantage of that now. The membership is $79 a year, and it's $99 to do both house sit and to
Mhm.
also offer your house for house sitting
Yeah.
opportunity.
I'll mention that it's been our standard that if you renew your membership before it expires, you get a 20% discount also.
There you go. So definitely don't let it expire. Do it before it expires.
Oh, it helps.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people take advantage of that.
Yeah. One thing that I'll mention also is that you don't have to always come back to the site to see what's available. Um, Being a single country site, uh, we can send out to all of our members an announcement. We call it the flash update. As soon as it goes online, we send out that email that
That's beautiful.
you can click on it and go straight to the assignment, see what it's about, apply for it right away. So you're always apprised of what's coming on, because they come and they go. They come and they go.
Yes.
It's not a ton. It's not a huge inventory at any one time, but it's a little like fishing. You have to kind of like sit and wait to see what kind of comes up. And the more flexible you are about where you go and when you house it, that works to your advantage tremendously. Conversely, if you only want to go to one place, you only want to go to Puerto Morelos, and it has to be in July. I mean, it's less likely.
Sure.
But the more open you are about it, the more it's an adventure, and the more successful it is for you.
I have one question that might come up. I don't know if it'll come up ever for you, but you know how immigration may ask you for hotel documentation if you're coming into the country? Is there anything that they get as far as that they can show immigration when they come to Mexico if they're coming for this house sit?
Um, I think that it would be the smartest thing to do is just to say that you're going to visit with someone. You're going to someone's house. It's a private house. They want the address. You can give the address. You know where you're going to. You've already established a relationship with this person. And I would just one tip I would make is just don't make it sound as if it's a job, because it's not a job. It's an exchange. It's a person to person relationship. And so you're 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 going to go visit that place, and here's where I'm going.
Yeah, yeah. And if anything, you can always show them on the website your communication with this person and what you're doing.
I don't think it goes that far.
Oh, okay. You've never had anybody get asked that in immigration, I guess.
I, I haven't gotten that feedback. I haven't gotten that as a problem. No.
That's good. That's really good. Ellen has a question. What happens if a house sit goes bad? I mean, maybe you can elaborate on that. It goes bad in which way? And I don't know exactly what she means by that. Maybe you can elaborate, Ellen, what you're thinking in your mind as far as like bad, because that to me can mean a variety of things.
Well, while she answers that for you, I'll say that if if there's something like a death in the family and all of a sudden change, things change, or whatever, um, it's a person to person relationship and people generally understand that and can accept that. But if a house sitter takes a responsibility, takes an assignment, and then changes their mind, they lose their membership. And
Oh,
and
okay.
and frankly, I can't remember it happening offhand.
That's great.
Uh, yeah, I mean, there has been, like someone who's like literally had a death in their family, and the
Mm-hmm.
homeowner just had to list the house sit, and it was more of a last minute situation. But the site is actually quite good at filling last minute situations, so it works out.
Yeah.
And one other point that actually I had wanted to make at some point
Mm-hmm.
is that there is an enormous multiplier effect that once you have a first house sitting assignment, the number the likelihood of your being able of that homeowner referring you to their friends is huge.
Oh, of
and
course. Yeah.
and so then after that you may wind up making a number of other connections that aren't through the website.
Yeah. That's a great
So
point. I mean, it would be great if they come through your website, obviously, but
yeah, no, but I mean that's life. I mean this is
yeah.
what happens.
Yeah.
But the biggest supporters of my website, I know, hire the same house sitters over and over again and refer them to their friends. I
Yeah.
mean but it does mean that once you're in,
Yeah.
and you're a known entity, um, it can really work well for you, but it'll get you going.
Well, I think you've answered a lot of really good questions on here, and a lot of people I'm sure are going to go sign up. Um, I would. So just make sure that if you're interested in that membership, go to housesitmexico.com. I have it on the screen, and I'll post up the comment here so you guys can see that website. It's in the comments. So if you go to the comments, you click on that link, it'll take you directly. Sign up for their membership. It's a yearly membership. You'll get a chance. You get emails when new assignments come up. So you don't even have to think about it. It just gets sent directly to your
Yeah,
inbox.
and I do all the customer service.
You
It's
do?
me.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah. So,
So you get to actually meet the face of this company. And I want to
yeah.
commend you. It's a great website. I think it's great what you're doing, connecting
Thank
people
you.
to a very niche thing, which is house sitting. But, a lot of people might not know about it. And hopefully this helps you discover, you watching at home, that this is a great opportunity for you.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you don't have any further questions for myself or for Alexandra, um, then I will send it off by saying check out housesitmexico.com. And thank you guys for joining me tonight. Our next live stream is on December 8th. We're going to be talking to Frank from MediciAmerica.com, who's going to talk all about getting veterans their medications in Mexico without having to deal with paperwork, without having to deal with TRICARE, and without having to actually make a trip to the US to get that medication yourself. So you won't want to miss it if you are a veteran who desperately needs your medication while living in Mexico. So thank you again, Alexandra. This has been
Sure,
great.
it's really been my pleasure.
Awesome. I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.